At 5 in the morning on a quiet Texas ranch, Jim stepped outside to check his cornfields. What he saw left him frozen in disbelief. In just a single night, an invisible force had torn through his land, churning up acres of fertile soil like a war zone. This was not a tornado or a flood. It was the silent menace invading the American heartland, wild hogs. These highly intelligent creatures cause over $2.5 billion in damage every single year across North America, destroying property and spreading deadly diseases to livestock. But this is not just a story about destruction. It is a battle of wits, science, and survival between hardworking farmers and nature itself. How do you outsmart an enemy that learns your every move before you even make it? Stick with us until the very end to discover how cutting-edge technology is changing the game. If you love deep, authentic stories about our world, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications to join our community. Welcome back, and let us dive right into the story. To understand why these creatures are such a nightmare for American farmers, you have to look past their appearance and see what they are truly capable of doing in the dark. Under the cover of night, thermal cameras capture a scene that looks like something straight out of a horror movie. Entire sounders of wild hogs move through the brush like shadow ghosts, completely undetected until the damage is already done. A single mature boar can easily weigh over 200 pounds, equipped with razor-sharp tusks and a snout as tough as hardened steel. When that powerful snout hits the dirt, it acts like a biological bulldozer. In just a matter of hours, a single lone boar can root up an entire acre of crops, flipping over topsoil that took nature hundreds of years to build. Their impact goes far beyond ruined corn and soybean fields. Wild hogs are absolute ecological wrecking balls that flatten native ecosystems wherever they roam. As they plow through the land, they destroy the ground nests of native birds and dig up fragile creatures like gopher tortoises. They gobble up every acorn, root, and small animal in their path, leaving local wildlife with nothing to eat. They ruin natural watersheds by wallowing in pristine streams, causing severe soil erosion and turning crystal-clear water into muddy pools of filth. For landowners who spent decades preserving the natural balance of their property, watching these beasts tear it to shreds overnight is heartbreaking. Beyond the physical destruction lies an even scarier threat that keeps ranchers up at night: infectious disease. Scientists often refer to wild hogs as walking biological hazards because they carry over 30 different infectious diseases and 37 types of dangerous parasites. They walk right through pasture fences, contaminating livestock feed and water supplies with pathogens like pseudorabies and swine brucellosis. Swine brucellosis is particularly dangerous because it causes pregnant cattle to miscarry, wiping out thousands of dollars in livestock investments in a single season. Worse yet, it can easily jump from animals to humans through direct contact, triggering chronic fevers, severe joint pain, and long-term health complications for farm workers. What makes managing them almost impossible is their terrifying level of intelligence and adaptability. Wild hogs possess a sense of smell that puts bloodhounds to shame, allowing them to detect human scent or buried bait from miles away. They pick up on the faint rumble of a truck engine long before it comes into view, fading back into the dense timber without leaving a trace. Even more fascinating is their ability to learn and teach their young. If a rancher sets a basic trap and catches only 2 hogs while the rest of the herd escapes, those survivors learn the trick instantly. They remember the smell of the metal, the layout of the gate, and the human scent left behind. The matriarch of the sounder will pass that knowledge down to her piglets, ensuring that entire herd never steps anywhere near a trap again. This combination of sheer brute force, biological hazard, and sharp intelligence makes the wild hog one of the most formidable invaders North America has ever faced. Farmers are not just fighting an animal, they are going toe-to-toe with a highly adaptable enemy that adjusts its strategy every single night. Where are you watching this video from? Please tell us your country or city in the comments and let us explore together. When you start digging into the science behind these creatures, you realize that traditional control methods have been getting it wrong for decades. Most people assume that if you shoot at a herd or set off a noisy trap, the surviving hogs will panic, run for the hills, and never come back. But researchers at Auburn University decided to put that theory to the test using high-tech GPS tracking collars. What they discovered completely changed how wildlife biologists understand wild hog behavior. To understand their findings, you first have to understand the complex social structure of a wild hog herd, known as a sounder. A sounder is not just a random group of animals wandering together. It is a tightly knit family unit led by wise, experienced older sows. These matriarchs know every trail, every waterhole, and every potential danger in their territory. They guide the younger females and piglets, keeping the group organized and safe. When hunters come in and eliminate only a few members of a sounder or kill the leading matriarch, it shatters this social structure. The surviving pigs experience a form of social panic. Without leadership, the remaining animals scatter in all directions. Young females that would normally wait to breed suddenly start reproducing on their own, establishing brand new pockets of wild hogs in areas that were previously untouched. In short, haphazardly disrupting a herd actually speeds up the invasion instead of stopping it. This is where the Auburn University study revealed something truly mind-blowing about what surviving hogs actually do after a traumatic event. Using real-time satellite data, researchers tracked individual hogs that escaped a trapping attempt. Instead of fleeing miles away to new territory, these animals did something completely unexpected. They stayed remarkably close to the exact spot where the event happened. The tracking data showed that surviving hogs usually remain within a tight radius of just 1.2 kilometers, or less than 3/4 of a mile, from the original trap site. Biologists call this behavioral pattern being encamped. Instead of packing up and leaving, the surviving hogs hunker down right in their home range. They know the terrain, they know where the cover is thickest, and they feel safer staying on familiar ground rather than venturing out into unknown territory filled with hidden dangers. During this encamped state, which typically lasts between 2 to 3 weeks, the hogs change their entire daily routine. They become hyper-vigilant, drastically shrinking their foraging areas and avoiding open pastures altogether. They disappear into the thickest, nastiest brush they can find during daylight hours and only come out in the dead of night to look for food. They become like ghosts on the landscape, laying low until they feel the immediate threat has passed. Understanding this encamped behavior gives us a powerful new perspective that is both scientific and deeply humane. Knowing that hogs stay close by for weeks after an incident changes the entire management strategy. Instead of chasing terrified animals across property lines and accidentally spreading diseases like swine brucellosis to neighboring cattle ranches, land managers can take a breath and plan a far more effective approach. This research shows us that brute force and aggressive pursuit are useless against an enemy this smart. Managing wild hogs is not about endless hunting or relentless pressure. It is about understanding their instincts, respecting their intelligence, and using real scientific data to outsmart them quietly without causing unnecessary chaos across the countryside. Once wildlife managers realized that traditional hunting was actually making the feral hog crisis worse, a massive shift in mindset swept across the American heartland. For generations, folks believed that grabbing a rifle, calling up a pack of hunting dogs, and heading out into the woods was the best way to deal with wild pigs. But when you look at the cold hard numbers, traditional hunting only removes about 29% of a local population. Every time a gunshot echoes through the timber or dogs bark in the distance, the herd scatters in sheer terror. The surviving pigs quickly adapt, becoming entirely nocturnal and moving on to neighboring farms. To truly get a handle on this invasive species, land managers had to stop relying on brute force and start embracing a quiet, High-tech revolution. Enter artificial intelligence and smart trapping technology. Instead of chaotic chases through the brush, modern hog management looks more like a high-stakes game of chess played under the pale moonlight. The goal is no longer to catch one or two animals at a time, but to achieve what experts call whole sounder removal. That means capturing every single member of a herd in one single, clean motion, so there are no traumatized survivors left behind to learn the trick and spread further across the countryside. This revolutionary process begins with an exercise in patience known as pre-baiting, which usually takes anywhere from 7 to 10 days. Farmers set up large round corral traps or elevated net traps with the gates wide open. They scatter corn and tasty treats inside, allowing the pigs to wander in and out completely unbothered. High-definition cellular cameras equipped with artificial intelligence monitor the trap site 24 hours a day. These smart cameras do not just take photos, they analyze the herd. The software identifies individual pigs, tracks their feeding schedules, and counts exactly how many animals belong to that specific sounder. Night after night, as the hogs realize the enclosure offers a free, safe meal, their natural caution fades away. They drop their guard and begin bringing the entire family, including the most cautious old sows and the youngest piglets. The real magic happens on the night of the drop. Miles away in his living room, a farmer gets a real-time alert on his smartphone. He opens an app and watches a live, high-definition thermal stream of the trap site. He does not rush to trigger the mechanism when the first few bold pigs step inside. Instead, he waits patiently, watching the screen as the rest of the sounder trickles through the gate. He watches until the AI software confirms that every last hog logged during the pre-baiting period is safely inside, happily feeding without a care in the world. With a single tap on a smartphone screen, a signal zips through the cellular network to the trap out in the pasture. In the blink of an eye, the heavy gate drops shut, or the overhead net falls smoothly to the ground. There are no deafening gunshots ringing out through the night, no chaotic chases through thick briars, and no aggressive dogs creating a bloody scene. The trap secures the entire herd instantaneously and peacefully under the stars. This technological approach is as humane as it is effective. By eliminating the prolonged terror of being hunted through the woods, it spares the animals unnecessary suffering. More importantly, because not a single hog escapes to tell the tale or scatter across county lines, it permanently solves the problem for that specific area. It is a masterclass in modern wildlife management, showing how human ingenuity, patience, and cutting-edge technology can work hand in hand to protect our agricultural lands and restore balance to nature. Once these smart traps do their job, landowners are left facing a very practical question that has puzzled folks for decades. What do you do with hundreds of captured wild animals? For a long time, dealing with the aftermath was a costly, wasteful nightmare that left a sour taste in everyone's mouth. But leave it to American resourcefulness to find a silver lining in the middle of an ecological crisis. Across the country, innovative land managers and entrepreneurs began looking at this destructive threat through a completely different lens, transforming an invasive burden into a thriving, multi-million-dollar organic meat industry. Today, wild boar meat harvested from American soil has turned into a booming specialty market valued at over $100 million. Unlike domestic factory-farmed pork, wild hogs roam free, foraging on natural acorns, roots, and wild herbs. This natural diet gives their meat an extraordinarily rich, lean profile that is packed with high-quality protein and remarkably low in fat. High-end restaurants across North America and gourmet markets throughout Europe treat wild boar as a premium delicacy, willing to pay top dollar for its distinctive, earthy flavor. What used to be considered purely a pest is now served on white tablecloths in some of the finest dining establishments in the world. However, turning a wild animal into a safe product on a dinner plate is no easy task, especially given the health risks these creatures carry in the wild. To protect public health and maintain the absolute highest food safety standards, the United States Department of Agriculture enforces a strict, uncompromising protocol. Hogs cannot simply be field-dressed in the woods and sold to the public. Instead, specialized transport vehicles haul the captured animals alive and unharmed directly to USDA-certified processing facilities. Once the animals arrive at these state-of-the-art facilities, licensed veterinarians inspect every single pig before and after processing. They conduct thorough blood tests and tissue examinations to check for any signs of disease, parasites, or contamination. If a batch passes these rigorous medical evaluations, it receives the official USDA stamp of approval, guaranteeing that the meat is 100% safe, wholesome, and ready for consumption. This meticulous process ensures that consumers get all the organic, free-range benefits of wild game without any of the biological risks. Perhaps the most inspiring part of this entire movement is how it reaches far beyond gourmet restaurants and commercial profit. It touches the very heart of American community spirit and compassion. Through incredible charitable organizations like Hunters for the Hungry, thousands of pounds of fully inspected, nutrient-dense wild boar meat are donated directly to local food banks, shelters, and senior centers every single year. For struggling families and elderly citizens facing tough economic times, receiving clean, high-protein meals makes a world of difference. It turns a farmer's worst nightmare into a warm, nourishing meal on a neighbor's dinner table. Rather than letting a precious natural resource go to waste in the field, this compassionate system bridges the gap between environmental management and social good. It shows that even when nature throws a massive challenge at our doorstep, human empathy, strict science, and smart thinking can turn a destructive force into a powerful blessing for the entire community. Looking back at this journey, we realize that protecting our land is never about ruthless destruction. It is a profound lesson in patience, compassion, and living in harmony with nature. Every smart trap set in silence and every biosecurity effort made today is a sacred promise to protect our communities and preserve our heritage. As an old proverb reminds us, we do not inherit the earth from our ancestors, we borrow it from our children. What are your thoughts on balancing science and stewardship in modern farming? Please drop a comment below, hit that subscribe button, and join our growing family. Thank you for watching, and see you all in the next video.